Are you ready? Let's get it. Assalamu alaikum and peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. This is none other than your brother Taalib from the Brother Taalib Show. And tonight's segment again, part number two in the area of cryptocurrency regulation, SEC, Congressmen. Speaking of the SEC regulatory case against Ripple XRP and the cryptocurrency as a whole community is concerned. So let's get into the thick of it again. I'm gonna go back. Go back to where I left off pretty much, and then we'll get into it. Just give me a quick little second, and I'll do that real fast. So just hold on for a sec. Where we at? Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Subscribe. I got tongue tied over there. Subscribe, okay? Because basically it helps gear up to having. I'm queuing it up right now, so just hang in there with me. It helps to gear you up or get you informed. Gear you up. That's me being involved in trying to queue up the video. But basically, like I was saying, when you subscribe, it gives you more access to the content and everything that I'm doing. And I'm trying to bring information to you, trying to help give some education, because the education I bring is just like a pass on, like a baton in a relay race to help you to win the race as well, with us all together as relay runners in this race of cryptocurrency adoption and innovation and making money. Yeah. So basically, let's just get into it. The congressman here, he's going to speak on where he left off from what I queued up to. He should be talking about what Gary Gensler said, and did in relation to, and this is just like a recap of what he was saying in the first video, is that Gary Gensler, like, to him, he felt it was intentionally done to make this maneuver that he was calling a stable coin of value, or something. It was supposed to be a stable coin of value, trading coin or whatever under the SEC, but he had used something else, another term that I can't quite remember right now, but brain fart time, late at night anyway. So this is, of course, my last video of the evening, because I was trying to upload the first one. So the first one should be uploaded, and then you can watch that, and this one is going to follow right behind. I get it in time, and you can watch it later this evening, or I will also post it tomorrow in Facebook and Twitter, inshallah. So basically, again, back to the point, the congressman, his name is Tom Emmer, and he, I can't remember what state he's a congressman of, but you can look him up, Google him, you can find out. But Paul Barron is just listening to him as he's explaining what the SEC, and then even some components of the government and those who are really more against cryptocurrency innovation going forth, or actually, let's say more even adoption, because those who are adopting it, it's spreading, and its revenue and the money in the market of the market revenue is spreading throughout the space itself. So it's creating an ecosystem, which already has done, and now this ecosystem is going head to head with the old ecosystem of the fiat currency, of the regular currency, or the regular way of how finance has been done and perpetuated in this country. that has always been unfair, always has left a gap in between rich and poor, and it's gotten bigger and wider. This is clear. This is from consensus of economists that today that have been made, and financial analysts that have made, you know, reference to how the economy is and how people are struggling, majority, and then the minority that is doing well, and gaining and getting richer. There's a big, huge gap between them. And why? Because the unfair, you know, transfer of wealth has been done, and it's been done, and it's keep going on until now it's getting where this is a glitch, I guess they're saying, and he'll say it in their works. So listen up, okay?
Why would he do that? I mean, is he ignorant about the industry? No, not at all. There's something called stable value funds that are under the umbrella, the jurisdiction of the SEC. I think it was very intentional. And I think
Yeah.
what he's doing right now is very intentional. In fact, right now within the administration, I think what they're trying to do, and this is just a speculation on my part, but my belief is they are trying to gain control over this incredibly fast growing, very lucrative industry and offering for several reasons. One, they
Right.
think it's a challenge to the central currency, right? They want to be able to control that. So they've got outrageous ideas, outrageous to me, of creating a U.S. central bank digital currency. By the way, their idea would emulate the Communist Party of China. I don't think we should be emulating the Communist Party
Right.
of China. They want to tax it. They suddenly have seen a revenue opportunity, at least that's what they think, because the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, allegedly lobbied Senator Rob Portman to put that amendment into the bipartisan infrastructure bill that allegedly.
Okay, so what are we dealing with here? Basically, let me go cue it back a little bit. Okay, so he's saying they think that what they're trying to do is that, and he believes that the government or the people who are trying to gain control of what is getting out of hand for them, it's pretty much they feel that they're losing control, and they're afraid of what can happen as far as them, the people, regular people like maybe me and you, or even worse than us, people, the unbanked, several different people globally, let alone in America, but we'll stick to America, regular people who are unbanked, um, people who may have some good amount of money, and they want to put their money somewhere to invest and see their money grow, and gain more from their money, like they was doing for many, many, many years with stocks since I was young. And my grandparents were, they spoke about it a little bit, but they never really dwelled in that. Some people in my family and from my background, they rather go and play lotto and rather play numbers and stuff. That's known in the African American community, by especially the older people. They didn't think about, okay, IRAs and all this other stuff that came out later now, 401k, and something for retirement, or investment into gold, investment into silver, investment into, which is precious stones, excuse me, precious metals, and investment in commodities and stuff, land and property and stuff, more than just owning your own house, but buying another house and then, gaining equity out of it besides selling it. You understand? So, it's so many things that regular people, when I say regular people, don't have, and these people don't want them to have, because what it's going to do is going to create more of haves than have-nots. And the more there is have-nots, then the people who have, they can keep on having. and those people who are have-nots are going to go to them to get work and to get what they need so that they can continue to function and be the machine, continue to be in part of this machine, and the clicks and the works of in the machine. We are part of this machine to keep it functioning. Workers, all these workers in this country that now even losing jobs due to the vaccine mandates, and that's a whole nother story, as I mentioned. But basically, back to the point. So the congressman is talking on that, and he's getting into the areas of the people who are trying to control it. Let me see what else. Hold on. And just to get detailed, they think it's a challenge to the central currency. You know what I'm saying? So that's more in detail dealing with that, and then just it being, more like a social kind of scenario. But it's dealing with the economical base, the finance of the monetary part of a country and its infrastructure. This is what they're afraid of. This is what he's saying. So let me see. So pretty much, I'm trying to read what I kind of like get it in my phone and read to remember to go back on what he was saying. So. Yeah, he mentioned about the Communist Party of China and stuff like that, and being that it's almost like a copycat type of thing for how that this country, its way of how they're going about regulation, and trying to bring regulatory clarity. It's not necessarily regulatory clarity because there's no clarity on what's the regulations. It's only enforcement, and and they're using enforcement as a means of regulation. So it's like, what was going on here? Where is the clarity? Where is the regulatory clarity? So they they're doing just like the communists have done, communist China to say. They went and just pull the plugs and everything. Bitcoin mining, shut it down. Go in. You literally see in the media, but of course I don't really go, fully to accept everything from the mainstream media as being correct. They sometimes edit just like I edit my videos. Usually, that's just part of the process with that. But they show, the people going in there and confiscating the equipment, pulling the plugs, all that. They just came in there like the force of one, And pretty much that's what we feel. That's what's going on here. Is what they're doing with our government agency like SEC, which is the main one. So let me see what else he's saying. Hold on. He's saying you don't think they should be implemented, and then the taxation part. They see revenue coming out of taxing every, I guess, transaction that we make or what have you. Everything's got to be taxed here. This is like the most stifling society I ever lived in, and I never really grew up in any other society, so I can't say that. But I mean, why? We're supposed to be the richest country in the world. We're supposed to be the free world. We're supposed to be the main superpower of the free world. What's that? Is that true? It's only for a certain chosen few. That's what it is. Is it? Things that make you go, But let me go on. And I'm trying to see here. Yeah, he was mentioning Janet Lemon, or whatever her name is, and she lobbied. Hold on, let me see. Okay, let the congressman speak again, because trying to go back on what I put and hold on. Let me see here where we at. Okay, let me let him go ahead. Ready
Allegedly
again.
would generate about $27 billion. But
And you just
this
let him.
net that they threw out there included people that don't even custody funds, as you'll recall. It could
Right.
touch miners and others, developers, right? Project developers. So, uh, long and short, I got off on a tangent, but Gensler's comments last week showed me that they are trying to grow their regulatory jurisdiction over this industry.
I think that's a very good statement in the sense that, one, you're looking at the SEC currently in what I've always understood in my research, years of research around the SEC and the regulatory mission that they have in terms of serving the American people. And that is kind of the bazooka effect, meaning let's go shoot the big elephants. Let's get the ones that are really defining big moves in the market and are affecting retail investors.
Now, listening to Paul Barron, he's talking about, he's using metaphorics, way of putting things in relation to like big business or big, commercial, you can say, or whatever, companies that are producing or allowing the buying and selling of the cryptocurrencies exchanges, as to say, pretty much to be specific. These entities of business and these companies are being attacked by the SEC because they're like the big elephant, he used as a metaphoric way to say it. They're the big ones. They're the big people you got to go after first, because as long as you get them and lock them down, shut them down, then all the small cronies and people like us are gonna just be like, oh, what am I gonna do? I don't have anything. They shut it down. No, you have made them and people like us very, very angry. Not to the point where you're gonna go crazy and overthrow the Capitol and all that insurgent stuff, but insurrection. No, I don't call for that. I think that is anarchistic, and I do not believe in that stuff. But we have to make a stance. And thanks to Deaton, um, the lawyer, I think his name is John Deaton, if I'm correct, and he is supporting and going on his own, I guess free of charge to take the SEC to court, on what they have done in affecting, in a negative way, the losses of revenue that were that had prospects of gain for investors, and mainly retail investors. And we took losses. I took loss as myself included, because I was excuse me, I was invested into XRP at that time, before it actually, we saw that all of the altcoins as well as Bitcoin started going up and following right behind Bitcoin as it does regularly. They're like all pegged to Bitcoin's increase in the market cap. So basically, or the market value. So as it was going up, boom. In the case, this guy, I can't remember his name. I just can't remember his name. The one who started the actual case before he left, or as he was leaving, and then the rest of the SEC took it on, and they got their lawyers together, and then the suit was filed into the courts over there. I think it's in New York, if I'm correct, and that was it. Then next thing you know, plummeting came. So this is what is going on now. John Deaton is about to take it to him, and I hope he does. And the people and all of us, and even we all are out there for support. And the XRP community is with ready to go. You know what I'm saying? It's a war. It's not a literal war. Don't get me twisted. Don't get me incorrect. or misinterpret me, but it's like a war that has to do with the narrative and bringing out the correct understanding of what cryptocurrencies as a whole really actually originally have begun as, not as no securities, but they may have been some that have made maneuvers that maybe is correct, that they may have made maneuvers that started out as current as security, or maybe even still be as a security, but not the whole entire, like your boy Gary the Goon Gensler made mention in one of his interviews. So let's go on further. Okay, hold on.
But going after this, kind of somewhat, a nest of hornets, I would call it, in terms of blockchain. It reminds me a lot about the internet when it was being born in the mid-90s. We saw massive movement and advancement, also saw the dot-bomb period as well, but we saw massive advancement in technology on just what we know now as web, as the internet. What we've seen now in blockchain is really kind of moving in that direction. Because the SEC typically does not have the firepower to go after 500 or 1,000 different technology variations that are out there in cryptocurrency and blockchain in general. How would they even approach it? Do you think it's just one of those scenarios they're trying to control the stablecoin aspect of this, or make someone like Ripple or XRP an example to try to essentially kind of secure the market through a little bit of fear?
Or worse yet, you've got a Fed Reserve chair who has suggested that if we create a central bank digital currency, there will be no need.
No, you heard that? He said that, and this is the answering from Tom, the Congressman Tom Emmer, is that if the central bank of, the Central Bank of America was to create a CBDC, central bank digital currency, then it will be no need. And one of the people he mentions who said it, I can't remember, that there would be no need for cryptocurrency. And this is a no-no for many. And he's going to tell you what he feels about it. Just continue to listen.
For cryptocurrencies.
For stables,
right?
yeah.
It's interesting that you comment about the SEC and their, the bandwidth that they might have to do this. Let's keep in mind, though, that what Chair Gensler and the SEC are doing right now is they're literally creating regulation that doesn't exist, by the way, through enforcement or threatened enforcement.
Right.
So even though they may not have the resources, as you point out, to go after all these different things, how do you know if you're going to be the one, right?
Yeah.
If they're just suggesting and creating confusion in the marketplace, this was my whole point with the chair last week, that you can't do this with your conclusory statements out in the public. You literally could cause harm. And I use the example. You got somebody who offers a token. They agree with Chair Gensler that token is a security, right? That token offering. So they register with the SEC. And I asked the chair point blank, I said, under that scenario, once they've registered with the SEC, will they be able to trade on the New York Stock Exchange? Will they be able to trade on NASDAQ? And he started to answer, which was very frustrated, typical government speak. Well, it depends on, the New York Stock.
You see, and I just wanted to pinpoint on that, like I was saying, and I said it in some of my other videos prior to this video, speaking on Gary the Goon Gensler, and when I said what I depicted of goonism, is that they try to get over, and political jargon is what I would say. They use that and they try to go around the question and use different they'll put in this and stick that in, and it may not even pertain to what the question was being asked, and they'll try to go around it and play games with it. Man, come on, man, stop playing games, dude. We could see through that. You know what I mean? just be upfront. and give us exactly what it is, what you're trying to do and what you're not trying to do. And that's the problem. That's the problem with him especially. So let's continue to finish listening to the well-rounded and informed congressman, and he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. I'm gonna look into him a little more. Mm-hmm.
Stock exchange and
Sure.
what their rules are. Of course it does. But right now, under the rules that exist, no, they would not be able to trade on either of those exchanges. I also gave him an example that one statement by his office could cause an investment to crash. And guess what? That would harm investors, which is the direct opposite of what his mission is at the SEC. So whether it's Chair Gensler, whether it's Chair Powell, or it's Treasury Secretary Yellen, and the list goes on and on. I mean, you've got a potential appointment to the OCC that could be very problematic as well. Ms. Amavara, a Cornell law professor, Paul, you probably are aware, and I just have her quotes in front of me because they're so amazing. She wants to end banking as we know it, and she thinks digital tokens perpetuate the dysfunctional financial system we already have. I got news for you. The crypto space is actually empowering people who have never been able to get into the financial system.
Right.
So it's just the opposite of what she thinks, or at least.
And and this is what I'm saying. It's like it is so frustrating to know, but this is the problem with greed. This is the problem with greed, vanity and greed. And as a Muslim, as a believing person of the Creator, and the God as we call him Allah, which means the one God. And I'm bringing a little bit of this religion in because that's what I'm about. That's my life. That's my main focus in my life. Islam means lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. It's not just a religion, as they say, But the understanding of it that it brings in relation to vanity and greed is very, very significant in dealing with how human beings that are in high positions fall automatically, and they should be, and if they're in a high position, even a king or a president, as we know today, in most countries, it's not. We don't live in times of kingdoms all over the world like we used to. We live in the times of the 20th century, 21st century now, and so you have presidents and you have prime ministers and all these different dignitary political or politicians, to say. Basically, this is the problem that back to the point, is that they have a disease that is like never ending. It keeps going. It's like they can't get out of it. Arrogance too. That's another component of all of it. It goes together with greed. It goes together with the vanity. And vanity and arrogance are synonymous in this sense, because with vanity, you're looking at yourself and you're seeing yourself as the best in it all, and you have no imperfections almost to that extent, almost godlike. And then, and even then looking in the mirror, to be more literal of the term of the word and meaning, but dealing with arrogance, that's how these people are too. They're better, and they think they're on top of the world, and they know it all, and no one can tell them anything. And then greed comes in with it, and then next thing you know, they take maneuvers and make those maneuvers with those types of diseases in their hearts, with those types of mental. I consider it a mental disability, because a person who's well-rounded in their mind has a balance. And when they do that, they're not greedy, but they also not a person who's negligent of their rights to be able to have something, or think that they don't think that they know it all, but they also know what they know. You know what I mean? They don't think that they're always right. Sometimes they know they're wrong, and they look to others to take advice, and then they work with that person or people and try to grow together. Not, oh, I'm going to do me. I'm above you, so you sit down and you bow down to me, and you take from me. I'll teach you and show you how to live your life. And this is what I'm saying. People are trying, and with cryptocurrency, it has made it better and easier for people who've been trying to get up above that imperialistic way, that dominating type of way of mentality that these people have. So let me let go and get off the tangent. Hey, I know myself. I know how I can get. So hold on, let me just let it go further.
Her statements, again, it goes back to your question: is there a purpose to what they're doing and saying? Do they actually have an end game that they're pursuing, or do they just not understand what they're dealing with? I think there is an agenda, but I'm not clear on what it is right now. And really, let's go back to the purpose. We need clarity in all this stuff so that we can continue. We've got 55 million Americans in the crypto market. You got a market that's almost $2 trillion in value, fastest growing thing that we've seen in decades. Let's look at it as an opportunity, and as a government, let's try to work with this industry and the people.
Okay, you see, and that's another point to stop on in the comment, is that why can't they not work together with us? And like going from the Treasury with that lady that he mentioned, that you know who I'm talking about more or less, and dealing with this SEC and their constituents, and any other organization or agency that's going to go and try to bring regulation with enforcement and not regulatory clarity, and not trying to say, okay, this is what it is and this is what we see. We've done our research. We've had our people go over and do the analyst research that needs to be done on the figures or the different components of cryptocurrency as on a financial structure or financial format, in a financial format, so we can go through all of that to see and figure all these things out, that okay, this is just a security, a security, the way that this is put together and architected, and the way that this type of currency that y'all doing here, or just give a general basis of a regulatory basis, that these that fall into these categories are the securities. So you have to have registration for them. And then these over here, and these people, they do not fall into security. Or that we showing you what you can do to avoid from when you launch or start a project to create a cryptocurrency or whatever you're doing with that it's not going to start out as a security, especially, or to even continue as a security, but it doesn't start as a security neither, as some people have, they saying and alleged that it has happened, especially now with this case with XRP, but yet they say Ethereum and Bitcoin has had a pass, and that's in the news right now. So let's continue on, and this video is getting pretty much long, but this is juicy stuff, so I'm going to try to finish up. I wanted to get to where he's going to make some good mention that make us feel a little better as the support that we get from the likes of him and his constituents. Hold on.
That are driving it to grow it and create even bigger opportunities right here in the United States.
Congressman, when the internet was born in the mid-90s, because it has a lot of similarities to what's happened here with blockchain technology, there was legislation that came into force to essentially not only protect but also secure kind of the future of technology advancement that we are seeing. Cryptocurrency will be just one of the sidebar assets that starts to accrue, much like if you were doing a private investment in an angel round company, or doing a startup in Silicon Valley in the mid-90s or early 2000s. I look at that in a very similar way. And you're right, 50 plus million people now, U.S., investing in this type of environment in the potential future here. We also saw, of course, Mr. Powell come in and say no plans to ban Bitcoin or crypto assets, but yet we have kind of the doublespeak coming in from the SEC that's, you know, throwing out these scenarios around regulatory issues, things of that nature. Is there a group within DC right now that understands the needs of where both crypto, blockchain, NFTs are going and how to regulate? Because I think a lot of people within the industry, very smart operators, innovators, et cetera, they want clarity and regulation just so they can move forward with, you know, developing their business models and hoping to serve the industry. Is there enough information in DC right now that regulatory guidelines or rails could be put in place?
So when you say rails, I think you and I both would agree that when you go back to the internet example, one, I'm not opposed to regulation.
Sure.
Regulation is not inherently a bad thing. But when the internet was starting off and was allowed to grow, the thing that allowed it to grow was that was a light touch by the government in terms of the regulation. And you've seen as the internet has aged, there have been regulations new that have come to light that are.
If you notice, you heard him say just to speak on, because there's a lot of different areas that things that Paul Barron spoke on, and then the Congressman is speaking right now. But basically, to touch on what he said, he mentioned about how with the internet, how it was able to continue in its evolution and continue in its innovation to continue to grow, was because of a light touch from the government's regulations, from regulatory actions taken against it. They didn't come and chop it and attack it and come in with all guns blazing, in a figurative manner to say. That's what's going on with the SEC. The Treasury is trying to do their part, and then you got the other organizations that are trying to do what they're doing. It's like an all-out war right now. And some of it is covert, and they're doing it because this is money, this is finance, this is the monetary infrastructure that they are trying to so-called protect. They're not trying to protect the investors and retail investors. They don't care about us, just like they don't care about the poor in this country. They don't care, but we know what's going on. But that's why cryptocurrency came through the cracks and crevices. And it's here. So I'm going to try to queue up to the part and let the rest of you wish, you can go ahead and you can watch the video. I'll try to put it in the description where to go to watch it. And I'm going to queue it up. As I was saying, I'm going to queue it up to the part where I really want you to hear and finish off in this video, because we're about to go into 40 minutes. So let's try to get there. Just hang in there with me, bear with me for the time, all right? Let's see. Trying to get there. Just give me let me see. Let me just let some more
needed. But at the beginning, government did not smother the development of the internet with undue, heavy-handed regulation. I think right now, when you say, is there a group in Congress? Well, first off, it would be the Blockchain Caucus. But the group that I've been working with most closely, because we've got a problem with the chair of the Financial Services Committee right now, she's not allowing any of this to move. I've got several bills out there. The Securities Clarity Act we offered it's a bipartisan bill that we offered back in July. This would create an investment contract asset, which is important because it would allow the SEC to understand when a token is a security and when it's not.
Right.
Just a minor change in the law. We've got the Safe Harbor for Taxpayers with Forked Assets Act. You can be holding a crypto asset. It can split, right? You can have a split, and the government wants to tax you on the split when, one, you may not have even wanted it, and two, you might not even have known it happened.
Right.
We've got the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. Again, another a bipartisan bill that would preempt state law, so you wouldn't have to get 53 licenses to do this work in different states and jurisdictions within the United States. These are all important, but there is a group on the Republican side that I've been working with that is looking forward to a day when we have perhaps a different direction of leadership on the Financial Services Committee. If for instance, that would happen in the next Congress, there will be a package of things that will be offered immediately. All of these bills, I'd love to see them move right now, Paul, but the environment that we're in with the administration having its agenda, which we're not exactly clear on in the crypto space, with Congress itself not exactly working in a hand in glove fashion, as is noted by the fact that I'm sitting here in Washington, D.C. for 23 hours this week. I just think that better times are going to come, and when they do, we need to have these things that we've already offered. We need to have people educated on why they're important, why they will make a difference, why they will help this industry grow in a safe fashion so that all Americans can enjoy the opportunity to participate. And, right now, the best we can do is continue to push them, see if we can get them to the floor somehow through a hearing, and if nothing else, make sure we're educating everybody in this environment why these are so important.
So what you're saying is that this
I'm queuing it up so that you can hear what he's saying, and I'm trying to get this video finished.
playing out over the next couple of years. We've had Celsius, guys with Nexo, different companies that do this. Celsius, an American company who's now faced with some situations in Texas, Alabama, et cetera. Some other states that are questioning and really just needing clarification of where they're going. Do you see DeFi really becoming an issue of, I won't say a challenge to the banking system, but at least drawing the banks out to where they have to make more, positive initiatives for their customers?
I do. I think a free marketplace, when it's truly free, allows disruption and growth at the same time that it creates an environment for existing, or those, as we have come to know, our banking system historically. And I think the beauty of DeFi is that it gives everyone the opportunity to build capital, by the way, without asking our banking friends for permission, or for that matter, asking our government for permission. I think obviously on DeFi platforms, you can loan crypto, you can borrow crypto, you can buy and sell crypto. People like it because it could actually root out fraud and bias that's found in traditional banking, which I would think for the current leadership on the House Financial Services Committee should be a good thing, because that's what she's always interested in, right? Access to the financial system, access to the opportunity to grow capital and actually start new projects, new ideas. Tomorrow's small business that turns into our future's big business. So I think DeFi is part of our future, and I think it's going to be good in the banking community, right? It's kind of like crypto. You look at these huge banks, and they didn't like it to begin with. I remember a certain guy who runs a certain bank in New York that was totally anti-crypto. Turns out, I understand one of his family members was heavily involved in crypto, and he slowly became a believer, and now believes that his bank should be involved in looking at these opportunities and participating. Look, disruption in the marketplace, Paul, is what has made this country great. It's entrepreneurs, it's innovation. Government should not stand in the way. Government should not smother it. Government should allow this to grow, and do not allow the existing marketplace, even though they're our friends as well, do not allow them to fence out all competition. Because the more that we can allow these great things to happen, guess what? The more opportunities you're going to create for more people. And that ultimately should be the goal, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or other.
Quickly, Congressman, about El Salvador, a little bit of their movement around Bitcoin. A lot of their people who were essentially untouchable in the banking system, they just did not have bank accounts, have now moved into the financial system for the first time. That
Right.
could be the case here in the U.S., especially around immigrants who are first-time, immigrants in the country, developing their lives and their livelihoods. All of that's a potential opportunity. Do you see that as being a huge case for crypto in D.C.?
I do. I think it's really.
This is crucial. Just listen to what he says in this, and dealing with what El Salvador has done, which has put it's like almost like a threat to the main powers that be in charge of the financial and monetary ecosystem, global ecosystem, let's say it like that. And without me saying which group and which organizations, which agencies and all that, other than the SEC, which is an enforcement agency, so we're not going to deal with them on that level. They're like one of the pawns or the soldiers in the field, but the main kings are in the background. So we know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So basically, listen to what he's saying, and I'm going to finish up with that. I actually don't even really care about the time anymore. This is crucial, and this is the last parting of the Red Sea. All right, let's go.
Really important that we emphasize that, because as I said, I think one of the things that our chair on the Financial Services Committee is most concerned about is financial inclusion, is that everybody have that same Main Street opportunity that Americans have enjoyed, but not all Americans have enjoyed for whatever reason. And I think DeFi and the opportunities it presents, quite frankly, this whole industry, the opportunity it presents is for the little guy and gal, that may never have had access to the financial system, that may suddenly find themselves with new power to self-determine, to create their own destiny. And that's why I think it's such a great opportunity. And that's why I think that it will coexist with the banking system as we know it today. The banking system quite clearly is going to have to evolve, but everything has to evolve. And I think there's nothing bad about an opportunity that's going to, about an industry that's going to give people an opportunity to join the financial prosperity that this country offers when they haven't been able to do so in the past.
Yeah, for sure. I want to hit on 2 points here that I think our audience would be, one, just to kind of educate themselves around what's happening in DC and what they can do to get involved. One is specific things that the SEC is essentially doing right now, short term. Is there anything that the SEC could be on plan or on guidance for short term that would have impacts in the next, say, 6 months on crypto or blockchain technology?
We're supposed to be seeing there's a white paper that's supposed to be coming out. I can't remember if that's the Treasury or the SEC, but we're supposed to see some suggestions from this administration that could have an impact. And I'm going to tell you, Paul, the problem I've got is, and some in the community have signaled all.
I think this was what he's talking about is the main meat, because right now he's trying to get there, and the main meat is of this whole interview, besides some of the other stuff that he said was really particular and very crucial, but how he speaks on what they are doing, what the SEC is planning in a sense. So just listen up and continue to listen, and we'll try to finish up soon. Sorry for the long-windedness.
Already potential red flags. In fact, I saw something from Brian Brooks over the last few days expressing some concern over potential statements coming out of the federal government, out of the administration. The problem with these, again, it goes back to my conversation with Chair Gensler. If you don't have clarity, if you don't have a clear understanding of what the rules of the road are, it confuses the marketplace, and it doesn't assist when people are trying to start new projects or people who are looking to invest in new projects. So I guess the most important thing that people watching this program should do is be in contact with your elected representatives, your senators, your representatives. Make sure they understand that this is important to you. I said early that 40,000 calls into a senator's office in one day in August kind of forces the elected official to put his or her head up from the sand and say, wait a second, this is a real industry, and this is an industry that a lot of people see as a great opportunity for themselves and others. Maybe we should start to pay a little bit more attention and try to work with them to make sure that it's a great opportunity for everyone, and that those opportunities stay in this country.
On board there. Last question to you, Mr. Emmer, and that is order flow regulation. So Gensler is essentially kind of talking about potentially putting order flow regulation in place. This would affect companies like Robinhood.
Yeah, this is it. I think this is it. This is the part right here. So just listen in.
Who are trying to essentially move into allowing their users, millions of users, to engage in cryptocurrency for the first time. If that were to go in place, Robinhood has come out and gave a statement essentially saying this would essentially destroy their crypto business and also potentially much of the earning potential of a lot of new time investors. Your thoughts on order flow regulation from the SEC?
Well, you just hit exactly what the direction of my questioning of Chair Gensler was all about last week. Look, we're interested in protecting all Americans, and in particular in this one, the little guy and the little gal that's just trying to climb that economic ladder and achieve the financial opportunities that this country provides to all Americans, that it's supposed to provide. Chair Gensler doing something like that with order flows, and regardless of who it is that's involved in the marketplace, that is in direct contradiction to the stated mission of the SEC. So, Paul, believe me when I say we are not going to let this happen, at least watching it. We're going to make sure that we're very loud and out front, that we get as many of our colleagues here at the federal level and outside to make it known that this is an opportunity that Chair Gensler's just got to wake up and start to work with us, not against us.
And there you have it. That's the ending of the aspect of the video. You can go and watch the rest, and you can even start all over and listen. I mean, it was juicy. But I hope that I didn't take all your time. I apologize for it being long. I hope you kept up with it and stayed with me and us to watch this and enjoy it. And just know, we got the soldiers, we got the people, and he's one of them. And those his constituents, his colleagues, and everything. as he's mentioned. So keep your head up, keep your faith strong. You know, of course, in the one above you created you. That's my position. And as a human being and as a citizen of this country and this land that's supposed to be have freedom for all and liberty and pursuit of happiness and the whole nine, as they say. That's our monetary or financial situation is part of that. Liberty and the pursuit of happiness is us being able to have and not be a have-not. And I hope that you've taken that and taken heed to that as I just finished off. So thank you very much for listening. And again, thumbs up, click the like button and also share the video so you can spread it and, it can go out to others that might need and might really be interested in wanting to know. And also, don't forget to subscribe, because you want to be in the loop. And I'm going to try my best to keep you in the loop. And comment so that I can connect with you with comments and so forth. And also know if you need me for any help and so forth and how to start off investing into cryptocurrency, just email me and I'll give you some guidelines on how to go about it. And know as a disclaimer, of course, I am not an advisor, a financial advisor, a professional finance person, or what have you. And this is not financial advice, of course, in this video, and none of that, if you already noticed. And so do not make any choices without, seeking some professional help. But I, from what I've done, for me to invest in, cryptocurrency, I can give you some hinters and, in that, if that can help you out. So you can go on the right path and not make mistakes. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Again, peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. And assalamu alaikum. Have a good evening. And thank you again.